Good afternoon and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this afternoon. There's a bit of news coming out around Daizen Maeda, and that Celtic are still worried that there may be a couple of clubs just sniffing around. But before we talk about Daizen, the big news of the day obviously is the fact that Lewis Palmer is set to join Polish sides on loan until the end of the season with a €4.5 million sell-on clause. Yeah, €4.5 million. He was out on loan last season, and it was just from Christmas, wasn't it? It didn't do too much. He had an option to buy. The Honduran was left out of the training camp, it's been suggested, in Portugal to sort his future out. Although he was playing with Honduras, and early in July, he was told to just go and sort his future out rather than meet up with the Celtic squad. And it looks like that he will not return to training at all. I've said it before. As soon as a player goes on to social media and posts stuff on social media, it's a one-way ticket out the door, isn't it? I mean, Brendan Rodgers did that with a winger before, so it's interesting that Brendan Rodgers takes no nonsense when it comes to the players and talking about their future and stuff on social media. Brendan's basically just, well, fuck it, you're not good enough for Celtic, go. That's it, end of. So Lewis Palmer is gone, but the big news is Celtic are worried that a bid may come in from Daizen Maeda. There has to be clubs interested in him. If there's not clubs interested, there of course there is. They'll be waiting until the later end of the transfer window. Clubs will feel if they enter into negotiations with Celtic right now, at this point, all it would do would just bump his price up, and there could be a tug of war. Celtic have got an interest in a player from Wycombe Wanderers, a Richard Connie. He is worth £7 million, and it's been suggested that he could be the replacement for Daizen Maeda. Brendan Rodgers said that Daizen is a key member of the squad, having scored 33 goals and 12 assists in 51 appearances for Celtic last season. The 27-year-old's, listen, what he did in the Champions League last year, what he did in the league, and then changing position to a striker, that would have got people all around Europe looking and going, do you know what? 27-year-old, he's still got the best years in front of him. Is he worth a £25 million punt? That's what Celtic want for him. Will Celtic get it? Or will they manage to talk him into a brand new deal? Now, I've said since last season that I think that this will be the summer that we lose Daizen Maeda. I've hoped and prayed that Celtic only go out and do the one piece of big business, and that was Nico Kuhn, and hopefully that was the make weight to the board where Brendan Rodgers say, look, I've sold one of my best players. But the big but is, with Daizen, he has only 2 years left on his contract, and Celtic will be well aware of the situation. They'll be well aware of the situation that he doesn't have only 2 years left, and then there's an issue if they go into the brand new season. Now there's a train of thought that we can keep him until the winter window. Even if the teams do come knocking at the door, you could say, no, we're going to keep him because we've not got a decent enough replacement. But it's everything that he brings to the team. I mean, if you've seen the video of him yesterday, before, I think it was when he came off at the 60s, I'm not sure when it was, if it was before the game or when they came off, he was doing press-ups at the side of the pitch. The man's just a machine, and people will see that. Hopefully we can keep him. But as Celtic are making inquiries about players, just in case. The lad that we're looking at is an Ivorian player, 22-year-old. He played 52 matches last season and he scored quite a lot of goals. So we'll wait and see. We will wait and see. I'm just catching up with this. I mean, there's other teams looking at the guy. Brentford, Crystal Palace, Norwich, Toulouse. He fits the age range of what Celtic would bring in. Will Celtic spend 7 million bringing him in? I think it's going to come down to one of these. If there's a bid comes in for Daizen, we'll get a replacement in straight away. But I suggest that we're going to get linked with a couple of other players between now and the end of the window. We all know there's plenty. Here's the reply to the inquiry, said Michelle. Fuck off. Hopefully don't sell him, take his batteries out at half time, and then he goes away. For me, it's getting into the money end of replacements for Daizen haven't been invented yet. Yeah, they haven't they? We could talk about it tonight. This is just a quick one. We can talk about it from 8 p.m. Celtic Park time tonight. We'll talk about the possibility of losing Daizen Maeda and potential incomings. Brendan Rodgers did say that he will. Yeah, I think so as well. Ton needs to be a Champions League team, or he wouldn't go. I think you're right on that. But Spurs are in the Champions League, and I know that Ange Postecoglou isn't there anymore, and maybe that was the selling point for him. But let's talk about it at 8 o'clock tonight. If Maeda moves, he needs to get better linked teams. Tell teams it's 40 million or no deal. I don't think that Celtic would ever get that kind of money for anybody that's got 2 years left. It's not the English Premiership. I mean, the English Premiership, you'll get that kind of money for a player that's got 2 years left. Celtic, you're talking 25 million plus an add-on. I don't think that. I think if Daizen does make a move, I'm hoping he doesn't. If he does make a move, it will be his last move, and then he'll move back to Japan. So there's not going to be much of a sell-on clause. So anybody, and this is what teams will be thinking about, and this is what will put teams off actually making a £25 million bid for the player. It's, can he bring enough to a team in the English Premier League to make the 25 million worth it, knowing the fact that he'll probably only sign a 3-year deal with them, maybe 4-year deal, and then that's it. He won't sign another deal. He'll head back to Japan. But anyway, Michelle says she hates how the SPFL is so underappreciated at times, and that's why Celtic are going down the road that we are, buying in lots of youngsters from other teams so that we can. It's a model that a lot of German clubs, a lot of French clubs, a lot of Belgian clubs, a lot of Dutch clubs have been doing over the last 5-10 years, buying up as many youngsters as they can just to sell them on at the ages in 19, 20, 21. And Celtic have been okay at it, but I think that they're going to have to up the game a bit. So Lewis Palma isn't wanted by Brendan Rodgers. There's a massive surprise, isn't there? It didn't come as a surprise that he's got a new club. I think the fact that he was told not to come back to training said it all, and I do think that it does purely and utterly come down to his social media exploits. Brendan Rodgers doesn't like that. Brendan Rodgers likes the way that Callum McGregor has no social media. James Forrest. Look at players that have this longevity at Celtic. If you want a longevity at Celtic, the first thing that you do is you delete social media from your phone when you join the club. And you definitely don't go posting on it. He, on the other hand, he was Instagram daft, wasn't he? And he had a team of content creators creating some crazy content around him, making him look like some kind of superstar. It may work well for him back down in Honduras in South America, but in Scotland, it's a get yourself to fuck, mate. It is one of those scenarios, isn't it? And that's one of the things that Brendan Rodgers would have said to him. Anyway, that's me done and dusted for this afternoon. It is just a quick one. There is a couple of other little teasing bit of Celtic news that's kicking around. We'll wait and see if any of that comes to fruition. The Celtic players team and Brendan Rodgers would have left Portugal today with a little smile on their face. The fact that we're beating the Portuguese champions 2-0 on their own back garden. We all head back to Celtic Park this weekend, and it is a case of facing Newcastle United, a team with a manager that turned down Celtic a good few years ago. But it will be interesting to see how that game goes, because that is for the Adidas Cup. Yes, we're back playing for something, and we won the last trophy that we played for in Cork. Can we make it a double in the pre-season? On that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.